Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another Historical Humans Heritage. And today we are going to the atoll of Hawaii. We're looking at Papahānaumokuākea, a UNESCO heritage site that's an atoll of islands. And that will be the only time I will try to pronounce that name because it is difficult.
So this is a small, isolated cluster of
Dolphin.
low-lying islands and atolls, and the ocean surrounding them, located about 250 kilometers northwest of the main Hawaiian archipelago, what is usually recognized on the map as the state of Hawaii. Um,
There's a picture with the bird in one of the
yeah.
images.
The area itself extends over some 1,900 kilometers and
Interesting.
has a deep cosmological and traditional significance for living native Hawaiian culture. And it is a place that is considered the embodiment of the Hawaiian concept of kinship between the humanity and the natural world.
Huh.
So,
Interesting.
massive religious site right here. Uh, Place to see beautiful dolphins as well. It's
Yeah,
very
the dolphins are
location.
a good touch.
It's a it's a very beautiful place. Um,
If it's good enough for dolphins, it's good enough for me.
yes. It is believed to be sort of what in Western imagination we might consider the portal to the underworld, is the place from which spirits come and to which our souls go when we die.
Interesting.
Ooh, it's the depths of hell.
Yeah. Uh, there are archaeological remains on two of the islands known as Nahoa and Maku Manamana, uh, both of which predate European settlement and arrival in the area.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, so it is clear that the Hawaiians were traveling out to this point regularly for an extended period of time prior to European contact.
What? You mean
Also
people
known
lived
as
somewhere before the Europeans arrived?
also known as the Polynesians have boats.
I I just don't believe it. I don't believe it whatsoever.
I love a
Yeah.
good boat.
Hi ho, off to sail I go.
Oh hi! Oh hi!
Uh, One of the other main attractions of the island in terms of scientific and global inquiry is that it is a considered a key point of what is known as the Hawaii Emperor Hotspot Trail, which is um, tracing the molten activity that formed the Hawaiian Islands back through time over the course of many millions of years.
Oh, that's cool. There's an
What?
exhibit of that. I'm trying to
Uh,
remember at which museum. It might be
Basically,
the Field Museum, but it could also have been the Science and Industry. But it basically was a map that showed where Hawaii is and the islands, and you can trace where the hotspot was and during what time frame from millions of years ago to hundreds of thousands of years ago.
all of the Hawaiian Islands were formed by this same hotspot, which has been moving very slowly across the floor of the Pacific Ocean in a line.
And these
And
islands here at this point are the older ones that have eroded more to where they're not as prominent as like Hawaii itself,
yeah,
the main islands that we think about.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. The different Hawaiian islands are all made from the same volcanic activity, from the same hotspot,
Which
acting up in different amounts of time.
exciting. We're gonna get a new Hawaiian island
Yeah.
When?
in the next like 200,000 years.
I can't
Yeah,
wait!
I know. I'm gonna be pumped.
I feel like we're on the verge of a Futurama meme here, where it's like Hawaiian Island number 7 under construction since you know
Oh, that'd be a good one, actually.
105 AD.
Oh, no, good,
Who's
good
now?
reference. Um, But the interesting thing too that I really like about this site in particular is one of the reasons it was inscribed into UNESCO wasn't just for its cultural heritage, but predominantly for its natural and um, biological heritage. This is like majority a nature reserve more than anything, with the marine and terrestrial habitats of the animals that live on the islands.
Yeah. Yes, due to the relative isolation of this place, all the marine ecosystems, ecological processes um, are virtually intact, meaning that it's as close as you can get to what nature would look like if there were no human beings.
Also, if there were no white people.
Well, there are just no human beings on the planet to begin with. I mean, I'm sure we'd have gotten to industrialization at some point.
Oh, I'm sure too.
We should still cook the
Um,
first person to visit the Hawaiian Islands.
Yeah, that's another pun on Captain Cook here.
Captain
And
Cook
it's
gets
gonna
cooked.
be
It was like the second or third explains
yeah,
video I did.
Yeah.
yeah. Um,
Nope.
so one of the interesting things with this site is the connection it has to other parts of the world. Because although this is a Hawaiian site, and that the ensemble of shrines and what is known as Heiau, which is a type of shrine specific to this little cluster of islands. Um, most of uh, Most of the architecture bears a strong resemblance to what is found on the island of Tahiti, rather than what is on the islands of Hawaii, even though it is a Hawaiian site.
Oh my god, you mean there were prehistoric boaters?
Yeah,
What could they have
it's a
used?
sign. It's a sign, Justin, of cultural connectivity throughout the Pacific. It's not just the Hawaiians coming out here. It's Hawaiians and other people. It's cultural milieu from other people also making their way to was essentially a pit stop right outside Hawaii in terms of sailing around the Pacific.
I mean, just imagine you're not the best sailor in the world, and like you've sailed around your islands a few times. You understand that you're pretty well isolated, and then one day this dude just shows up and is like, "Hey, sup?" And you start talking, and they bring up their deities, their gods. How mind blown would you be?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure where you're going with this. I'm gonna let you run with it.
That's it. I'm just curious, like, if they just showed up one day and was like, "Oh, like, how do you approach that scenario?"
Yeah. Well, I'm
Good
not sure,
question.
but like with like Tahiti and Hawaii, there would have been something of a base cultural norm on which to rely, as both would be Pacific Islander culture. They would both have similar, yeah, similar strong, shall we say, heritage and general concept of the world in the broadest of terms. This isn't the English showing up and thinking things are completely different than what they are.
Hmm. There's the reference to the English.
Yeah, there
Wasn't
we go.
me
I'm gonna
today.
get if you weren't going for it, I was gonna take it.
Low
Yeah,
hanging fruit.
it's a sign that that all these cultures were in contact with each other despite massive geographical isolation.
Hmm. Interesting. Now, before we wrap up here, we should talk about some of the criteria and some of the reasons it was inscribed, and also the integrity of it, which is pretty pristine from what we've already talked about. Just
Yeah,
because it's untouched, it's unmolested, it's pretty natural. I mean,
yeah,
a large part of the site boundaries are actually underwater, which is kind of interesting. And the thing that I find a little intense is the abyssal areas that they have listed as a part of the site. Like, you're talking about sounding sinister. Abyssal?
yeah. That just means very, very deep underwater. I mean, technically, the entirety of the Marianas Trench is abyssal.
Oh no.
It is going very, very deep down. The Pacific Ocean is incredibly deep
And
in
horrifying.
a lot of places. And is part of the reason why the Hawaii Emperor hotspot takes several million years to even make a lump of land appear over the coast of the water.
Hey, it might just be a lump of land, but it's big to me, okay?
It makes it takes a very long time to get that to happen
No.
because it is building up over what is several thousand, if not hundred of thousands of feet of water.
I mean, if you want to hear a messed up fact, the big island of Hawaii is technically a larger mountain than
Everest.
Everest. Yes, because it goes from the bottom of the ocean all the way up, versus Everest, which is at a larger part of the Earth's crust.
Yeah.
So it covers a larger distance.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of distance to cover, a lot of water to try and pop a piece of land through.
Yes, and one of the things you might notice if we're gonna bring this back around to like the criterion and the condition is because this is a joint cultural and natural heritage site. We have the rare site on the list that meets 5 points of criteria. Most sites on the list usually come across on 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So the significance of this site is effectively pulling double duty for both the history of the world and the nature of the world itself.
Wow. And on that really gravitational bombshell, I think that's a good point for us to wrap up. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you in the next UNESCO video, the Heritage video.